The only silver lining is that Big Terry 634, who plays on 24 alt accounts at Vindicta, has to pay more, and I'm glad.
What's wrong with Big Daddy, man? Big Daddy doesn't care. He makes 5 bill a minute playing on 20 Vindictus accounts.
Doing something that takes no skill whatsoever.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our very first podcast. I'm Ashley, and I'm very excited to start this show with some of my best friends from the RuneScape community. Today, we're going to be talking about a very hot topic, RuneScape bonds. This morning, Jagex announced that the prices of bonds are going to increase on June 25th in literally just a week. Before we get into it, I want to introduce my co-hosts. First, we have Wiki. He's relatively new to RuneScape since he hasn't been playing for over a decade like the rest of us addicts. And we have Redbomb, a RuneScape veteran with an extensive RuneScape resume from Old School and RuneScape 3. Anything you guys want to say before we get into it?
Hello, I'm very dumb, my opinions might be bad.
Hello.
Okay. Cool.
You can't laugh.
Well, I mean, it would help if they knew who was talking. Because it's just your voices. The happy one is Wiki, and the one that sounds dead inside is Red Bomb. So, bonds, am I right?
Yeah.
They're gonna be $8.99 in a week. Well, US. I didn't look at the other prices because it doesn't apply to me. So I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know how expensive it is for you guys.
So that's only like a, what, 20% increase?
Yeah, I need 20%.
The last time they increased them was in 2018.
Did they increase them with memberships, or was it separate?
That I have no idea.
2018 was a long time ago, though, right? So it's like we've got to put it in perspective. Like inflation in those years has been pretty big, but maybe they're finally now adjusting.
How much is RuneScape membership though?
$8.99 in the UK for 1 month by itself, but there's all the types of bonuses to make it buy Premier for $59.99. I think that puts players off too. Like early game, making a £60 investment for a year of playing is a lot. And if you're like a free-to-play player, you haven't experienced enough of the game to really sort of understand what it's actually going to be like, because playing in free-to-play is so vastly different from membership that it's a completely different game.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's literally a completely different game, which is like, it doesn't really help people play the game, experience the game, so they don't like progress into membership. Most people just quit. It's so bad.
Yeah, I've had a lot of experiences from people, which is like, I downloaded it, I tried it, I had no idea what was really going on. And then they leave, because the early game tutorial system, I think, doesn't showcase enough of what RuneScape really is. And you're so limited by areas, too. Like, all the
areas, gameplay,
newest,
skills,
yeah, everything.
Well, and trying to earn a bond and free to play is
I don't think it's possible. I mean, it's possible, but it's like
it's unreasonable to like ask someone to grind that much.
Yeah, no, completely unreasonable. I honestly, I don't even know how you would. I don't think efficient is a word you could even use. I don't know how you would efficiently make bond money in free to play. And just like archaeology materials or something for like your entire existence in the game. If that's not fun, you're not like really playing.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the problem, the early game experience. Like, if RuneScape truly wants new players, it has to actually sell it to them. It feels at the minute like they're being, new players are in a chokehold of, like, they have to interact with all these systems, the UI isn't very easy to understand or navigate, then the whole world itself is just bare of any real sort of concrete direction. And I think new players would come into the game and have a better experience if they could go anywhere they wanted, they could do whatever they wanted, they had access to all the skills, but they just couldn't trade. And then if they wanted to trade and be an active part of the economy, they could they could get bond money or whatever, and keep playing.
What a lot of people argue is like Jagex has no control of the actual price of bonds in game. Yeah, like it somewhat correlates to like the price of the bond, but it's more what uses they have and what people are willing to spend on them. Like Jagex can't arbitrarily set the price at like 20 mil per bond.
A
Yeah,
lot of people are wanting them to.
The problem is it just doesn't work because if you set the price at 20 mil, no one's going to buy the bond, so then they just wouldn't be in the game.
Yeah, it's
As
got to
simple
be
as
enough
that.
money for it to be worth the
Yeah.
people paying real life money.
yeah. Their worth comes from what people are willing to buy them for,
Yeah.
and that has to be there. Otherwise, the integrity of it is gone. And even though the bond, if you look at it price-wise, is exorbitant, I think I would love to know the breakdown of what people use bonds for. Like how much of it was for what? So how much of it was for membership? How much of it was to buy keys? How much for rune coins? Because then we'd have like an actual understanding of like what actually increases the price.
Bonds definitely spike during good treasure hunter promos. I know that for a fact. Whenever the premier membership is released in like September, October, it spikes then, and then everything else it doesn't really spike for. Another problem is that they keep giving it more and more uses, and we're gonna get to a point where like it has so many uses, it also goes up because of that. Like with the Easter event, they made it so it gives double tokens, which is like,
Oh yeah, I remember that. They did the same with the Christmas event too.
yeah. If you keep giving more uses to bonds, you're gonna end up with like they're just gonna keep going up and up. I also think more and more people buy bonds for their membership than they did previously. Like most of the people that play the game, like play the game for 10 years plus, or use bonds for membership. There's like very few people that like
Yeah.
don't. So like the only people that buy bonds are like I don't know who even buys bonds, like the casual player maybe.
Actually, don't know who buys bonds.
Yeah, the thing is casual players. Because I think for players who are just casual members, they're working on maxing. I think for them, having like spending a small amount of money for 130 mil is actually pretty reasonable for them. And it would increase their quality of life, I think, a lot. Like if you're going for max and you don't really PVM, you just kind of do things to try and max and you try to enjoy the game. Like 130 mil is a lot of money that can help you train skills.
I agree, and there's also another factor is like the price of bonds on 07 also isn't usually the same price as the bonds on archery. So if they go up on 07, they'll go up in archery as well, which is another factor people don't put into.
Are bonds just for membership in 07?
Membership and name changes.
Oh, name changes, yeah.
I don't think there's very few people that use name change for bonds. Like I put like less than like 1% of bonds get used for that feature. Because you can change it after like 30 days or 60 days. I can't remember how many. But like
the bond price going up, like in real world terms, who does that really affect?
people that
Like
buy
in the
bonds,
community.
and then
So
like
people who buy bonds for membership.
well, necessarily no, because yeah, the price of bonds they have to pay more for a bond, but the price of bonds gonna be worth more, so that it'll equal out to like being the same amount of money per real world money, if that makes sense. Like bonds are like 138 mil I paid for some yesterday. They're gonna be like at least 150, 160 at the end of the week. So like
That's so
the people that buy
crazy.
yeah. The people that buy bonds for real life will still get the same amount of value, even more value over time. Bonds are just gonna keep going up and up.
Yeah, I mean they've gone up substantially really in the last year. I'd say like 2 years ago people were starting to complain about the price of bonds getting out of control, and I think they were about like 60 to 70 million then. And then in the last year they hit like 80, 90, 100, and now we're at, what did you just say you paid 130?
Yeah, 138
almost
now.
140. Yeah.
I was like non-insta buy, like they were just offers I filled up. Yeah, it's not reasonable for like a casual player to afford bonds.
Should it be?
I don't know. That's a good question. Like back in the day, do you think the casual player could afford?
I didn't play RuneScape like hardcore until like 2016-ish.
Method of trying to remove real world trading. As sort of like an antidote to it.
Yeah, I mean, they said that bonds basically like removed a lot of real world trading. I mean, it is kind of like real world trading. It's like legal RWT.
Yeah, it's like state sponsored. Yeah.
State sponsored RWT.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess is one way to like fix a problem, right? Is to make it legal to keep people from doing
Yeah.
worse things.
Yeah, plus I think on the side of casuals too, they would rather pay Jagex the money and know that nothing's going to happen to them than trust some seedy website online.
Yeah.
Because people are going to want to get in-game currency one way or the other.
Yeah. It'll happen. People are going to do what they're going to do, ultimately. But I don't know if it was ever, like, feasible to pay for membership with bonds in the past. I know people grind out, like, before, like, their membership, before it was Premier, but now that it's just, like, year-round, they'll just, like, go really hard and, like, boss and grind out enough to make membership and bonds, but it doesn't seem worth it anymore.
I mean, we've always had Premiere since Bonds were released. I could be wrong about that, but I think they came out like the same time.
Yeah, they just don't really call it that anymore. It's just like all the time now. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Premiere
it's like
pricing is the pricing. Yeah.
like as soon as I could buy bonds from shit, I'd buy bonds. Like I was like I'm hot one, but like I'm very biased when it comes to bonds. Like I can afford to buy bonds because I just PVM.
Mm-hmm.
I'd just do a month of PVM. I really have to. Not even that. Like it just so for me, like the price of bonds and the money I make per like PVM is like always correlated and like the same. Like they always correlate. Like I never have to invest more time PVM in to make enough money to buy memberships. Always the same. I do notice it. Like I think by the end of the year it's going to be like $2 for Premiere, which is a lot.
That's
Especially for
It's already way more than that. It's 20 bonds. So it's 20 times 140 or something it is now, so it's like nearly 3 mil.
wait, really?
Yeah.
Jeez, I didn't think of that.
But I think we have to like contextualize this, right? So RuneScape, you could go in free to play and theoretically make enough money to get membership and play the game for free, essentially. Like,
Yeah.
not many other MMOs have that system.
no.
WoW has WoW tokens, which is the same. I don't think Final Fantasy has that system.
Well, it's not a lot.
A lot of games can't do subscription-based models. Like it just fundamentally doesn't work for them. MMOs are the only type of game that can fundamentally do subscriptions, and it's very old games. Like WoW and RuneScape are like 20 years plus. I think Final Fantasy came out in like 2012, somewhere around there. Like
I'm not sure.
anything past the Fortnite era will never do a subscription base. I guess ESO still does it, and I don't know. I think Fallout 76 doesn't, but they have like a season pass. Like most games don't have subscriptions, but they have season passes, which is like the same thing. Because most of the time, the season pass is always beneficial enough to purchase it.
So that's what I'm trying to think. Like, with the bond like price going up, who's really getting affected by it? Which, in my opinion, would just be people who are endgame who just pay for their bonds for Premiere. They're the only people that it adversely affects.
Yeah, the only thing I can see is like, say you play the game semi-casually and you want to come play RuneScape for a month, and you're like, oh, a bond's 130 mil, yeah, I'm not playing, and then just log out. I think for the casual player to buy membership not through bonds is better. It's really not worth your time grinding like 100 plus hours to make a bond instead of doing something fun in the game. I don't know about you, but like one of the worst things to do in RuneScape is to make money. Like just set yourself a goal just to make money.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you can mask it like by going for collection logs or like setting yourself KC goals or having fun or just do bosses. But like to actually directly be like, I'm gonna make 100 bill, it's like it's not fun.
Well, I mean, there's not much to do these days. It's just kind of repeating the same content. If you want to do it in a reasonable amount of time, of course.
At the end of the day, inflation in the economy is really high. The price of bonds going up only by like $1 or £1. I don't know how much it is, but like
I think over the 8-year span that they haven't. Sorry, the
yeah.
6-year span they haven't increased it. That's pretty reasonable.
People are just more negatively annoyed at the fact that bonds in game went up. I don't know percentage wise. I don't know how much bonds were like last year, but like probably over double the price they were last year, maybe.
I imagine the driving factor for bonds going up in price is people like with real world money, are buying less of them. That has to be the only driver, which means like lower population.
Yeah, it's only supply and demand. Like less people buying bonds to like
Yeah,
sell because less people played the game than like last year. The only people that
yeah,
like played it were the people that like passed that like end game were not
like
buying bonds.
highly engaged endgame players. That's really
Yeah.
the
Did you notice it when certain content comes out, like casual players will buy bonds, they go down. I think Necro release bonds went down for the first time. I couldn't tell you because all the casual players started playing the new skill and they wanted money to like skip grinds like the subjugation grind and stuff.
oh true, yeah.
I'm not sure people are necessarily mad about the increase in price of IRL money so much as it is the increase in the game.
Like that's not Jagex's problem. That's the economy's problem. In that sense.
Yeah, bonds. The only time bonds ever crash in the G tracker is when Necro was released. They went from 70 mil to 60 mil.
So at times of high population, bond price goes down.
Yeah, there's a lot of driving factor, like new players, new engagement. People just wanted to train Necro. They didn't want to make money, so they didn't mind buying 5 or 2 bonds, essentially just to skip grinds, make
Yeah.
money. That was like the only time, like in this graph, that they've ever even moved, which is like scary to think of. I just think Necro came out, people bought bonds, and then like everyone stopped playing after Necro, and the only people that did play, the people that play for like 10 years straight, they're like addicted to RuneScape.
Yeah.
And they don't buy bonds with real money, they just consume bonds.
Yeah.
I still predict that like bonds will be 200 mil plus by the end of the year, easily.
I think it depends the content plans that Jagex has, right? Because if it follows the trend of the higher the population, the more people actively playing, bond prices go down. So if the content's good, you would hope that people would come back and that the price would go down.
Mm-hmm.
100%. Like if there's content that's really good, players will come back and play the game. And I don't know, we'd have to see in terms of content, because the only content on the roadmap that like I'm actually looking forward to is ED5.
Well, that's coming from your perspective as like an endgame
Yeah.
PVM, right? Which
I
is
guess
like the content
maybe
that
the
you...
skill and boss.
Yeah, the skill and boss.
Maybe the skill and boss would bring back players.
I think a lot of people are excited for the mining and smithing like mini rework again.
Yeah, the addition to 110 and the
Yeah.
engineering ores.
At least now we have like some sort of idea of what's going to happen in the future. Even if it's like broad strokes, it's still like enough to like keep us interested at least.
We know what's coming. Now we just have to wait for it to come and to be interesting or fun.
Do you think it matters how much bonds cost for the game as a whole? Survivability, perception, popularity, I don't know. Does it matter?
I don't know. That's a hard question. Because me, the correlation of like bonds go up, but like money making methods go up. Like we get new bosses have more money power, etc. So like, if a bond's 500 mil, most likely the PVM methods are probably like over $1 an hour at that point. Like, that's just like, so like for me, it doesn't matter the price of bonds, but like I get for like, if you're trying to play this game, you don't want to spend money. Like, price of bond would put you off, but then Jagged doesn't care about that because you're never gonna give them money. If that makes sense, you're just buying bonds, and like other people will use that bond instead of you. It's not like people aren't using that bond.
Yeah, I think the only negative I can see is potentially new players playing in free to play. The possibility of them ever having enough money to get membership and play the game is very slim.
So they
But
just
then I think that's a problem with like the onboarding of new players. I think it's the problem.
yeah.
I think it's not necessarily bonds. I think that's like an unfortunate consequence.
They
Because
have to-
ideally, like, more people would come and play RuneScape so they can enjoy the content that we all love. But it's like getting to that destination is the problem.
well, they tried to fast track with Necro to like allow players to PVM and didn't have to do like
Yeah, that's been successful.
100 hours of grind. Like Necro is very controversial, but like as a new player, it's great. Like it helps you get to the point where you can actually start enjoying PVM and doing
Yeah.
stuff.
You don't feel gate kept from endgame PVM.
Holy crap! I just one cycled Seru by myself
Sheesh.
with necromancy.
Built
This
different.
style is so wrong. It's so bad. I literally hate it.
We can talk about necromancy in another podcast. I think necromancy is a very controversial
It's so
topic.
bad. Yeah, we can talk about it in the next one. This is bad for the game. I just wanted to have something for people to watch, so I've just been casually doing ED1. I've never gone with necromancy before, and I'm disgusted. I'll never come back here with it again. So, you said that you don't think that Jagex can price cap bonds. Why do you think that's not? I'm curious. I think Red Bomb said that.
It just doesn't work. Like no one's gonna buy a bond if they can only get 20 mil from it. But people are not spending $7 for 20 mil in RuneScape 3. It's just no one's gonna buy the bond. Then
Do you
just
think the bonds will ever go down again? No, right?
yes.
Not like to where they used to be, or
Well, I can see them come down to like 100 mil, 90, 80 mils, but like nowhere below that though. No.
I don't think we have like the data to really know
Bonds,
like what the drivers of it.
the only time bonds ever came down was because of necromancy, and that was because everyone wanted to train the skill and didn't want to go out and make money. Other than that, there's no.
do you think there's no price where people would be like, yeah, this is worth it? Or you think they'd be upset about what they could be missing out on if they just left it unchecked?
Yeah, I don't see them ever hitting a price where like. Also, like, I don't know, like if you want to try this game, paying for like a month membership isn't. I wouldn't say too bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you spend like, what is it? I said like $13 or something USD. And then...
I mean, like we spent. I mean, we spent like. I mean, me and Wiki spent £10 on Final Fantasy for like a month membership. Like it wasn't when we tried a new game. Like I think if you're gonna play RuneScape as a new player, you just like the way that like, to sit in free to play and make a bond isn't gonna. You're just not gonna play the game. Like you have to invest into the game.
No,
you won't get. You can get to a point when you stay off membership, off bonds, but it requires you to play the game, which is like.
I just think there has to be a better solution to that. Like they have to figure out a way to make the new player experience better. They just do.
I don't know if like you get like an offer for like a $1 membership or like I don't know. Like I've never been like new to the game in years.
Well, they have Prime bundles, right, with membership.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. That's literally why I started playing again.
Yeah, they stopped doing Prime because it wasn't worth it for them to do it. Like, it wasn't just. It was like every company stopped working with Prime. Like, Prime Gaming Leads just disappeared. Like, every game stopped doing Prime promotions. It wasn't just RuneScape.
Because that was like the thing that got me playing again. I got 14 days free.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't played since like 2013, like killing aberrant specters in the Slayer Tower. And then I got that, and I was like, oh, I'll try it out again. And then I got addicted and spent a fortune on the game. So I was like,
the Prime is literally the reason you start playing the game, which is crazy to me.
Yeah. Because I was skeptical about going back into something if I had to like shell out like whatever it was for like 1 month.
No, I agree.
Before you know if you really like it.
The reason why they don't do free membership is because of bots. That's like the number one reason why they just don't do free membership, and it's not something that they can solve.
Final Fantasy had that problem too, right? And the way they solved it with that free trial, like we took, is okay. You can do everything up to level 50, basically, but you can't trade.
Yeah,
that's the perfect way to do it. Yeah. So they're not. They can't overwhelm the economy with like bots. Imagine if you were a brand new RuneScape player, right, and you had access to everything, but you couldn't trade. So you're either forced to play like an Iron Man, or you paid membership and you could trade.
Yeah, it would honestly make me want to pay for the game
Yeah,
if you like it.
because you're still actively playing it. Yeah.
I think that is the solution. Is like you get a free trial until level, I don't know, level 50 RuneScape skills. I think that's a good cap.
Yeah.
You just can't trade. Like,
All
I
I'm
think
saying is there are
general,
better solutions out there.
I think general stores have enough gear to level 50. I think you can get like rune armor, which is level 50. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to trade. You could literally play the game without trading to level 50 easily. And you get Batwing from that shop in Rock. Like all the level 50 gears, like there already. So I honestly, I think that's a perfect solution. Is to like allow people to play the game but just can't trade. That way the bots don't like fester the game,
Yeah.
and then people that actually want to try the game can actually try the game and don't feel like.
Yeah.
Because the
Because
50
they can
experience
go to
isn't.
Canifis, they can go to the Slayer Tower
Yeah.
and kill stuff, and it's fun.
I mean, they'd be locked
Then
out
you learn
quests.
more.
They'd be locked out quests up to try 60, 70 stats. That's fine, but they can do all the like early quests and stuff. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
They can actually experience the game like more Tanya. Like Jaggers has studied and tried so many times to like introduce players to the game. They've tried everything. They've like reworked the tutorial so many times. Like I don't even know how many times they reworked the tutorial by now. Like I couldn't tell you how much it is. It's a very crazy number.
The last time I did a tutorial, it really didn't do a great job of preparing you for everything that RuneScape is.
I think number one fix I would say high priority is not even a tutorial. It's a interface that is good and makes sense.
Yes.
Because like I cannot stress this enough. Like if you the default interface for RuneScape is so bad that it's just not playable, and you have to look up a guide and learn 20 minutes to like reposition and realign everything, add stuff, get rid of stuff, remove title bars. Like it's like no one wants to spend half an hour just to make an interface, just to even start playing the game. They just want to get into the game. Like the interface should be good. And the interface isn't good. Simple as that. It needs to be redone. Like
it does.
But we started playing Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy has the same interface. You can customize the chair thing. You can make everything bigger, smaller. Like you can move stuff around. But the default interface for Final Fantasy is really good. Like there's a few stuff that you want to change.
Yeah.
But like it doesn't affect the game. You can play the game with the default interface. There's nothing wrong with the default interface in Final Fantasy, in my opinion. Like I can.
Yeah, and I like even the way that they put the abilities in an order that kind of makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
The tooltips are really nice and readable, and it's a good model.
I think Jagex needs to be honest with itself. What makes RuneScape 3 to us, like why we love it, and for all of us, it's going to be like different reasons. But I think PVM, like endgame PVM of RuneScape, is the most fun I've had gaming. And then the lore side of RuneScape and the quests, some of the quests are just so unique and funny, and they've got their own like character. That I think that other people would love them too.
Yeah, which
but
character is that?
That's Evil Dave. But the point I'm trying to get at is that for players to get to the place where they're enjoying content like that, it's so hard.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And it requires such a grind. It's like it's too much to ask of like a brand new player.
Well, and they have no idea that they need to like hold out for more, you know? Like there is no like it gets better kind of moment when you're grinding. Especially in the direction that they're going is like a more solo MMO. Like there's people who just quite literally don't play with other people. Ever.
That's why if at the start of the game they had like a introduction quest, which was like an end game boss battle but scaled down so it's like easy, just for someone to experience what that's like, and have like a quest along with it that's voice acted, to like really immerse them in it, so it's not like click a rock and deposit stuff into the bank, because that's not what makes the game unique.
I think so. Like, I would argue there's like two types of players left. I'd argue that people like skill and go for like 120s and PVMers. Other than that, like I don't know. There's like very few like other people left in the game.
I think there are still, like, I'd say the majority of RuneScape players, probably more than like 30%, are people who are on the road to maxing.
Yeah, I'd say there's a
People
lot
who are
of people
working on skills
maxing.
casually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the first like goal people do. It's like their major. Like, I say there's a first major goal. It's either maxing or questcape. Like RuneScape quests are the best types of quests in any sort of like MMO. Period. Like every MMO is just kill 10 goblins. RuneScape quests have like dialogue, lore, like interesting stuff. Like it's funny. And like quests is not for everyone. I do admit that. Like a lot of people hate quests, but I think most people hate quests when they have to like redo them second, third, fourth, fifth time. That's when it becomes like a drag. Like if you're making a new account.
Yeah. Plus, a lot of the time, it's like those quests that people find annoying were made 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's hard for them to continually pile on content on top of each other and make it friendly to newer features and things like that.
But honestly, like I think the best way is, like you said, a free to play way, or like a way to like buy membership that isn't like that expensive for like a first time
Yeah.
player.
Or give them like a trial for a month. Like link to their email address or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, membership trial.
We have a bot problem. That's only that's like that's the only thing like is
If they
scary.
can't trade, they're not a problem.
Yeah. Other than that, like
No,
I will admit, like
uh-huh.
RuneScape, the best part about RuneScape is the PVM, but like that's just biased opinion. But
What were you gonna say, Ashley?
Oh no, I've seen I'm just gonna say first, I think RuneScape has way too many currencies. It's out
Yeah.
of control. But I've seen some people put up the idea of creating more bonds, making like different types of bonds to try and deal with the price of bonds in the game. So to sell, like, for example, like a membership bond or like a
Okay.
rune coins bonds and like, you know, things like that. What do you think about that?
Like, I understand the concept of it and what it tries to achieve. And I think it would be interesting to see how if you removed Treasure Hunter from the utility of bonds, what that would do to their price. Because if they were just for membership, I think the price would be considerably lower.
What do you buy? Bundles, right? Because you can buy keys with bonds, but you can also buy just keys, right? But
Yep.
you can buy like what, bundles for Treasure Hunter and like
Yeah, with reward money, you can buy bundles for Treasure Hunter. If you buy bonds, you're limited to 15 per bond.
I can interject and then like at the end of the day, Jagged sets a value of bonds, so you get X amount of rune coins or X amount of treasure hunter keys or X amount of membership days per bond. So if they split them up, you would pay like a treasure hunter bond would cost the same amount and it would give you 15 keys. It wouldn't do anything for the bond. Like the membership bonds would still be the same price. They wouldn't be cheaper. You're still gonna have to pay, I don't know how much they are. What, $6 for membership bonds? Only gonna, even if it's just 14 days of membership, that's all. It would never change. Like it wouldn't change the price of them.
well, I think it goes hand in hand with creating some sort of fix. So like create a bond that's separate from membership and then create some sort of system where it's got a fixed cost in game somehow, you know, and
Yeah.
separate it from like other bonds that are maybe not controlled. I think people need to stop suggesting more forms of currency.
No, the problem is also like the way so like I don't know, like how would you limit bonds? Like you can only trade them for 20 mil, or like you can only like the G's limited to 20 mil. Like I don't know how
Yeah,
you
I think it's complex enough, you
I
know?
don't know how you would limit bonds to a certain price. It doesn't, like, because people would just trade people. Like you just go to War 2 and buy bonds for 100 mil. No one would buy and sell at 20 mil. It just wouldn't happen. You can't, like, you just can't limit the
It could be
price
a
of
much
bonds.
higher price. It wouldn't have to be 20
Yeah.
mil. It could be crazy. Like it could be 100 million. They could just make like an NPC that you buy a bond from. For
I'm just think GP other game.
Yeah, like a GP sync, basically. Yeah.
I just don't
Yeah.
see bonds being that like expensive as a giant problem.
I don't either. Like,
Do you guys buy
Ju-
bonds
I've bought bonds in the past,
for
but not for
membership or
membership. For GP for PVM upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you buy your membership with bonds, right, Ash?
yeah, I haven't. It would be bonds would have to be a bill each for me to realistically think about buying them with
Yeah.
buy membership IRL.
How do you pay for your membership, Ashley?
Money, real life money. I've never paid for
Yep.
membership with bonds. Even
Never
like,
have I.
yeah, before I was like decided on playing RuneScape like a lot, I just did like, the monthly whatever while I was still kind of like new to it, figuring out if I really liked it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as I was like, okay, I'm playing this game a lot, I think it lasted like 2 months or something. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get a membership. I'm playing this game too much. So yeah, I have not bought bonds actually for RuneScape.
I was just gonna say that like I think I'm more old school when it comes to gaming because it's like if I enjoy myself playing a game, I don't mind paying to have that experience, you know?
Yeah, same.
I think that most people don't mind spending money on a video game they enjoy to play. I think there's very few people that like. I know there's like 1 or 2 people that only ever play free to play and will never spend a dime. But it's like, if you want to do that, you can do that. It's just it costs you time instead of money. That's what like you're gonna have to accept that you're gonna have to spend 100 hours mining Runite or whatever you do in free to play.
Yeah.
Like you just if you want to like not pay real life. But like at the end of the day, it's more about RuneScape being a good game. If RuneScape's a good game, people buy membership, and that's how
Yeah.
it works. Like it's more,
Yeah.
like price of bonds don't matter. Like because if the game's good, and someone's like, oh, I really need money because I want to buy, like Wiki wants to buy PVM upgrades. Like if someone wants to do that, and they don't want to sit there and like they get unlucky at Raziel, like they can go and buy bonds and they have like 200 mil, 500 mil, and they can buy their thing that they wanted.
Oh yeah, no, I would never knock anyone for buying bonds for GP just because it sucks to make GP in this game right now. Like it's so bad.
Yeah, you have points where like making GP is not good, and then you have points where it's like. At the end of the day, the best way to make GP is doing something that you enjoy and you don't notice it, and you're like, oh, I'm rich.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, I'm gonna kill 10,000 Raziel. Like, if you don't enjoy the boss, you just can't do it. Like, you aren't gonna do it. Like, they said, like, you made your money from like care pack. You just enjoyed doing care pack. That was it. You know what I mean? You logged in, did care pack, logged in, did care pack like that.
Yeah,
like, I made
don't
money
do those things anymore.
Yeah.
If it's like care pack staff is like what 1.8 bill. I don't know.
But I
How
Yeah,
stopped
about that.
like and Zammy too before it was like not such good money. I just doing the same thing for your whole existence in a game is just for me it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
It's like it didn't matter how much money I could make from it. I just needed to stop. It was making me not want to play. And that's I think for me the problem with making money in the game is it's just farming the same thing, whether it's bosses or clues or
I think for players like us who are like highly, we spend most of our time PVMing, right? If there aren't new bosses that are fun to fight for us, we sort of default back to bosses you like or bosses which are good money. Which you can fall into a trap of being Raziel locked if you want GP, which is just a 1-minute boss fight over and over and over and over again.
Whereas, like, that's why I've been loving doing Virago with you guys. We get like literally no money from it, but it's the most fun I've had playing RuneScape in a long time, and it's it's literally different every time we go, either because we mess up or the rotation's different, or
Yeah.
it's been a while. It's just it's not the same experience every single time, which is refreshing. A lot of
It's
the
like
bosses were designed to be different than newer ones, but they end up just being the same with the power creep, and it's unfortunate.
that's the craziest thing is like, and you're not like, you have die hard Rago lovers. Like people just do Rago. Like you have people that only have ever done Rago. All they do is Rago. They don't do any other boss, and it's so hard to get into Rago because it's like, one, you need a group, like, and two, it's like it's really bad money. So like no one wants to do it. Like
the money's awful.
you have to find someone that's like, hey, I want Vitalis, which is like 0.0001% players that want to take Vitalis because it's just a horrible grind to go for.
Yeah.
But like Rago is easy. I'm named after Rago. Rago is easily the best boss, and it would never ever even come close to that boss. Like I don't think Jags will ever make a boss like Rago ever again.
They haven't, have they?
No, like they just haven't. Like I mean, Solak definitely was a close
It's
contender.
close, yeah. Not quite the same.
Not
Viraga's
quite, but like
it's a very complex boss.
but
Yeah, very punishing.
it's punishing, but it's, if you make a mistake, you can be like, I made a mistake. I did something wrong.
Yeah. It's not just
Not
huge
like,
auto attack damage that you're just dying from.
what did I? You don't question. You don't like, oh, what did I do? Like, you know, like,
Yeah.
oh, or like, oh, I got unlucky.
Yeah. It'd be nice to have
Rago-
money making methods where you felt like that. Like, this is fun, it's different.
Yeah, they do come around. You just have to wait.
Challenging.
You're waiting on Jagex to release a boss. Like it's up to Jagex if they want to do it. It's not up to you. At the end of the day.
Yeah, Zammy
That's
was
a-
like that at first until we started skipping mechanics, and then you could say, oh, just do a higher enrage, but then it's like, it's also not fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna be like, enrage systems prevent Jagex making the perfect boss.
I'd agree with that.
You can never have a perfected boss when there's enrage systems in the game because it just doesn't work. Like it's just.
Oh my god, did you hear that?
Yeah.
That was Junior waking up.
After the conversation we had on bombs, I'd be interested after the Sanctum releases, the new dungeon next month. I want to see how bonds fluctuate.
Yeah.
I think they'll go up because I think all the PVMers are going to come back and be like, I'm going to play the game, and then they're going to buy bonds because PVMers are the rich players.
See, I think it'll go down.
Nah, I disagree. I think it'll go up. And I also, because I know there's a bunch of players that don't play at the moment, that as soon as Sanctus is released, they're going to want to come back for a month and play it, and they're going to need membership. And I don't think the 295 weapons could be worth it or that good that people are going to switch from necromancy to use it. So it's just not going to have any value. Like it's not going to be the next. Like when weapons came out, they were the best. They were the best weapon, not only for their style but in the game. That's what made them so valuable.
Oh, that just was a fun dungeon, to be honest.
I think it'd be incredibly fun. I think Ryan is a very good boss designer. He designed Ratchet, and he designed
Zuck.
Zuck. Zuck is great.
I love Zuck. Yeah, it's great.
I really enjoy Zuck. The only thing, like, it didn't test me as a high end player, but like, I get it. Like, adding content for the 1% is like not feasible, which is fine. I just like when Coliseum came out in 07, which is basically like a Zuck fight for RuneScape. I grinded for 2 weeks, and then like it was really difficult. But when I got it, like it was so like achieving. I want an archery. I want to be like slammed against the wall and just like I have to grind for something. And once I get it, it's like, oh my god, you got it. And then they don't have to do that with gear. They can do it with a cosmetic. You know what I mean? Say like the 295 weapons, they give it a like cosmetic version. You can like add to it, and like it comes from like doing the ED5 in like a challenge mode where you have to like do hard mode without banking or something. Then it's like something really hard. You have to like play to your absolute best. So, Final Fantasy has the same thing. They have like raids, but then they have like Giga Hard Ultra raids that just give cosmetics. And like, I miss the days when you like look at someone, you're like, oh, that person's sick. They have like something cool on, like, you know what I mean? So all the cosmetics nowadays are just MTX. It's just, oh, that guy bought MTX. That's it, like, you know what I mean? Even though 07 has it, they have kits for weapons. They have Fang kit for doing a level 500 TOA. They have Blood Dova, which comes from like defeating these 4 Desert Treasure 2 bosses, which are really hard. Like, it's all cosmetic, but it's like, I would like that just for me. Like, that is selfish, and I understand that, but like, that's something I want for me. But no, I think ED5 would be really good. Even the teaser with the telegraph mechanic, I don't know if you guys seen it, but like, line that comes out from the middle of the square.
Yeah.
That alone is like a 9-day improvement over RuneScape mechanics telegraphically. If you're playing this game, like, if you want to get into RuneScape, I think you just have to fork out the membership price.
Yeah. I don't know. I just want more people playing the game that I love, you know?
Of course, you want more players. More players mean bigger game, like more MMO aspect. Like, it's scary when I log into wars nowadays. On certain wars, it's completely empty. It's like the one
Yeah.
place it should never be empty, and
Yeah.
there are times in wars where it's empty. That is not. That's like really scary. It's the only like it's the most. I would say it's like the most people hang out in wars. Probably the most, like even more than the GE.
Well,
I
Ashley
think
could speak about that when she tried to PVM with like random people.
Oh, yeah, no, it's like almost impossible to find random people to play with.
How many worlds did you go to try and find someone?
I don't know, at least 20.
yeah. Every now and again, you get people come to the elite dungeon board and going, "Hey, looking for like people to do ED1, ED2, and ED3."
Yeah.
And the world's just full of a bunch of like high level players that troll each other and tell them to PM their friend to like annoy them, but they're not actually going to PVM, which is like toxic. But yeah,
Do you think people are actually upset about the bonds? Do you think they're still just upset about these random decisions? Well, to us, they seem, as players, they seem random and out of nowhere. Like, they just literally made an announcement today that the bonds are increasing in a week.
And honestly, I've
Do
got
you
no
think it's
problem
just
with
like
it.
they're mad
It's a business
still from
decision.
before,
I think RuneScape players, and I'm guilty of it myself, which is complaining when there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But I don't see this particular change as that egregious at all.
especially with real life inflation, you just
Yeah.
can't argue that like it's not justified.
Jagex is UK based.
Yeah.
Interest rates in the UK have been insane recently.
Yeah,
So I don't think it's unreasonable for them to put them up.
it's not a huge spike, not doubling the price. It's like 20. I don't know, it's a 20% increase, maybe less than what country you're from.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, if it's not worth for you to buy bonds, just don't buy bonds. It's like that's what I would say. Like,
And if you're a high-end player who uses bonds to buy membership, and you're complaining about the price, you can always pay with real-life money for membership.
or you can just go do another 5 hours of Raziel. Like,
Yeah. Or you could spend your money on a game that you play 10 hours a day.
yeah.
You know?
It's either like, I don't know, you just spend an extra 5 hours grinding Raziel. Like, it's as a high-end PVMer, you do bosses for like hours upon hours. You can do an extra 10 hours, 20 hours of bossing. You know.
The only positive I see to this is that alt-scapers have to pay more.
Yes, Altscape has some.
So if you have 24 accounts and you're a Vindictor, I'm glad the good price is going up for you. I'm happy about that.
But aren't those alt-skippers also doing the job of what a lot of bots would do, is keeping some prices low?
But
Yeah.
I'd rather pay 60 mil for a lance that I know a mid-level player got by killing it actively.
Me too, but then there's no the middle player killing it for lances.
I would love mid-level players being able to go to God Wars Dungeon 2 and make actual money.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Like if a
But oh
lance
no.
was even more than that.
Yeah, I would not care. Because then they'd get more money to get more upgrades to enjoy high level PVM. That's fine with me.
I mean, it would kind of negate the problem with people being able to afford bonds too, because part of the problem is not everyone can just go do Racial. Like, as much
Yeah.
as we say it's like, you could say easy, it's not to everyone.
not-
To a lot of
exactly.
people, it's quite difficult, hard content that they can't do. And so they're locked to, I mean, gosh, money-making methods if you're not doing things like, we'll say 100 plus Zammy, because a lot of people can't even 100 Zammy, and that's not like a bad thing. It's just, you know, it's difficult. We've kind
Yeah,
of,
you're right.
there's no money making method.
there's nothing that's good. Not
So it's always difficult high in PVM. That's always going to be the best money making method,
Yeah.
because one is difficult, not everyone can do it. And two, it's active. You have to actually play the game.
Yeah, it's
Anything you can,
active. Yeah.
anything you can AFK will never be good money, because you can just AFK it.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
yeah.
It's impossible. It's not gonna work, because if I can go kill Raziel, or if I can go mine Runite Ore for the same amount of money, which one am I gonna be doing? I think I'm just gonna mine Runite Ore and AFK and watch something. Like,
Leave my Runite Ore alone. What the hell? I don't really know what the mid-level money-making methods are. I'm assuming a lot of them involve...
I mean, the wiki is a good place to check.
Is
I think
it?
sure.
I
Yeah,
think the wiki is very outdated. The money-making guides on the wiki.
they are, but they're so relevant. I mean, making Blood Reaver pouches is like 60 mil an hour. It's not that bad.
Yeah,
And
but what levels does that require? Because...
Why does you have
Plus-
Thrift for Amlord Hour for a start?
no, you don't need to make it a binding contract. You're on about making the scrolls. If you just make an actual things, it's like 68 archaeology plus wherever you need to go kill reavers.
So that's Day Gone By Mystery.
Yeah, which is like 68 archaeology, and then that plus whatever you need to kill reavers, like levels 30 necro, like, and then some
with
sort of
necromancy, it's easy.
yeah, and some sort of protection. I mean, you have to kill. I guess you have to kill Bandos to get the frozen key. No, you get it from minions.
I thought you
Yeah.
got the key from killing all the bosses.
No, you get the key from minions. And 07 is from the
okay.
bosses. So yeah, literally the requirements to kill Blood Reavers, I would say, is very low, and it's like 60 mil an hour efficiency.
Gosh, what a life, though. Log in and just kill Blood Reavers for hours.
Yeah.
It's boring, but like if you want to make a bond, it's like a few hours. You know what I mean? Like you could spend 4 or 5 hours every month killing Blood Reavers to upkeep your membership. Less if you buy Premier. Like there are ways. It's just you just have to do it. Just like
Yeah. People don't really, I think, for the most part, want to grind like that anymore.
no,
Either
that's
they're-
fine. And there's other options. Like I said, you can always buy membership with real life. It's not.
Yeah.
And that's a scary concept for a lot of people. But it's not terrible.
I never considered buying with bonds just because I never, when I needed to buy membership with bonds, I never had the GP to afford it, and it wasn't worth it, you know, because then I couldn't literally do anything else in the game, and then by the
Oh,
time
you
I
value
could, it
you
just-
value
yeah,
you value your time over money making. You'd rather not spend 5-10 hours money making. You'd rather just pay the real life money, and then
Yeah.
actually do stuff in the game you enjoy.
yeah,
which is-
exactly.
That's what I mean. That's what people should like look at doing. Like as a hobby, like the amount of people play RuneScape, like the amount it costs for like a year membership is not. When you're not asking for much, in my opinion. People spend a lot more on hobbies for like a lot less in return.
Yeah, what is it like? Is it $70?
I don't know how much it is for USD.
I think it is. It's 59 in the UK, so I imagine it's either.
I know people that have dropped $20 on a skin in Overwatch in a heartbeat. Like if you're that type of person, but you're not willing to spend $60,
Yeah.
$70 on membership, then I don't know, man. Like, it's up to you. But like, you need to invest in your hobbies. Which is
Do you
why.
think bonds are a problem for the game in general?
No, I think
No,
it's actually a good thing.
They're a good thing. They allow people to get money and skip grinds in the game. They allow people, new players, to have money. Like 130 mil when you're like just starting playing the game is a lot if
It's
you
the
think about
easiest
it.
way to get started in the game, really.
Yeah, like 130 mil will just cover all you ever need in the game at the end of the game. they'll buy you all the like quest stuff. Like it'll buy you like all the any gear up to like tier 70, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like chilling. Maybe you just buy one bond and sell it. You're like literally like you'll have more money than you ever need for like the whole of early game.
Yeah.
And it allows people like me that are rich in the game to like spend my money on membership. Like if they got rid of Bond tomorrow and I had to buy $70 a month to pay for membership, I would do it. It's not. The reason why I use GP is because I have so much of it.
Yeah.
So,
What a flex. That was a casual statement.
All I'm saying is, he
Yeah.
says this, and he made you split a cluster.
Ah,
that's
I'm so
that's how I
yeah.
make money though. Rich people, like if you know, rich people stay rich by not spending their money. They find other ways to get money or spend money. I think bonds are good for the game. I do think Jaggers shouldn't add more ways to spend bonds. I think we have enough. Like treasure hunter, rune coins, membership, name changes, rune metrics pro is like enough. Like there's enough value
yeah,
in there.
there's a lot.
When they start adding silly stuff like the spring event, that was like annoying
Yeah,
for
because
me.
it's even in events now. Couldn't you get like 3 Easter Bunny ears or something?
Yeah.
Was it 1 bond for 3 ears or something?
I don't know. I don't
I don't know.
remember
It was
that, but
something.
like
You could just directly buy the ears with bonds.
it's funny because those ears were like really expensive. Like we're talking like hundreds of mils. And then you spend a
Yeah.
bond.
Yeah.
Like anyone that was like trying to merch those things would like lost a lot of money.
Good.
Yeah, I agree. Good.
You can buy like boosters for events and currency directly, and you can use bonds for a lot of things. I never saw a problem with it, but I don't feel like I interact with the content with bonds enough to really feel too strongly one way or another about them, because I know there's people that rely on them for whatever reason. I'm sure everyone, they have their reasons why they choose to do that instead of other things, like directly buying membership or something. But I just
The only thing I know is like if you're from a different country, it's a bit different because spending like $8 on membership could be like 10th of your monthly paycheck, which is like not worth it. Because I know a lot of people like, especially in like poorer countries, like they want to use
Yeah, that's a
bonds.
good point, actually.
It's not justified for them to spend a 10th of their monthly paycheck on RuneScape membership. This is ridiculous. Like imagine we spent a 10th of our monthly paycheck on RuneScape membership. Like you know what I mean? Like this is ridiculous. But like I think they have cheaper membership prices though. I could be wrong. I don't know how it works. Like, cause I know like they don't. So like they have cheaper membership prices, but then like people from our country like VPN in and buy bonds for like dirt cheap, and then that like ruins it. They like VPN and stuff, but they try and stop that from people doing it. But they happen as all stuff. Like people VPN to buy like YouTube Premium for like $1 in Turkey or something silly like that. Countries just have to have different pricing because people's income is always different depending on what country you're. And for those people, it would suck when bonds go up in price because then they have to pay more for membership. You have a lot of options in life. Like if you don't want to spend 130 mil for a bond, you could buy RL. If you don't want to spend money on the game, don't. So play something else. Do something else for your time. You don't enjoy it. You don't have to play RuneScape.
I agree.
You can do other stuff. And that's a scary concept for RuneScape players, not play RuneScape for like
Yeah.
I mean I played less RuneScape in the last 2 years than I ever done like the last 5-10 years of RuneScape. Like the game just became really bad. So I just stopped playing. I started picking up other games out there. There's like a million games you can play for free out there that are all really good because they all rely on other monetization systems. Would you want RuneScape to have a battle pass system and not have membership? Would you prefer that?
Would I
Would you
want
prefer
membership to go away?
like if you could have an option to
For
either have
every
membership
uh
or a battle pass instead? Would you would you rather pay for full membership or would you rather have a like MTX battle pass that you can optionally buy every month? Which one would you rather
Membership.
have? That's what all other games do. Is like Fortnite technically has a membership price, but it's just battle passes. So people, it's like.
I
So
think it would depend on how they implement it. So, like, I liked New World's Battle Pass, for example, because it came with new content, achievements, and challenges. And it wasn't just play the game, give us, money, play the game, and get some cosmetics that no one really enjoys overall. I think if they did a better job than they did with I don't even want to say the name, the Hero Pass, I could enjoy it, but I also it could go either way.
That's my honest opinion. It's like RuneScape doesn't fit a battle pass, and nor should players accept a battle pass when we're currently paying for membership. If we stop paying for membership, sure, you can add a battle pass to the game, but until then, like players should be very hard on not accepting a battle pass into the game. It's really not fair. We already have like every other sort of revenue in the game.
Well, I don't know, it's weird because then a lot of people, and it goes to the issue with bonds. Well, one of the issues with them that people have is integrity, and to do a battle pass, you'd have to put really good benefits into the game that I'm sure a lot of people would have an issue with.
Yeah, I agree.
Even catching the things that require for pence powders is like 60 mil an hour, and I don't know the requirements on that. Like 99 Hunter.
I'd probably something like that. I don't actually know.
9900 and then all the upgrades, right?
Making
From the
extra
craft
fine,
shop.
In the shop.
making extra fine sand with the lunar spell is like 57 mil an hour. I mean, obviously that wouldn't last because it requires people to actually buy the sand and stuff.
Yeah, I do think it would be nice for there to be a way, kind of like what you was saying earlier, for more, I call them the baby legends, to have fun and make some GP,
Yeah.
Yeah. I just the way they do that is like with diagonals and making the rings worth something because they're required for the newer rings. So.
Yeah.
But anything that's baby terms can be AFK'd, and anything that can be AFK'd is just going to be AFK by 20 people on account. So it's just, I don't know how I think we just have to ban alts, but Jaggers won't ban alts because it's just, they can't.
Just limit alts to a reasonable number.
They can't because it requires too much, it's not worth the tracking, they got better things to deal with, they just fundamentally can't track it.
Just if you want to use the Jagex launcher, you can only have 3 accounts active at the same time.
But you can log into more than one Jagex launcher if you just make different profiles on the computer. You can also use a VPN. There's ways around it. There's not. You can use a virtual machine as well, Wiki, if you wanted to. There's no it's not worth Jagex. It's not worth Jagex policing it. Basically, you have to make baby money making methods, but they have to be not AFK, so people can't alt them. It's just
they have to be active. Which in a sense is true with the dinosaur propeller.
Hunting penance powders and making blood reavers are active and they're required for endgame PVMers, so they have a high money. Like we just chug through them. We don't care. We'll pay 2 mil for a penance powder because we do not care because we're just high end players. There's same with blood reavers and blood reaver scrolls. We do not care. We don't want to do that. So like, if you want more, I don't know. You want it to be fun, right? I
mean, I think you'd want the game to be fun in all of its aspects. It obviously can't be, but if it's something that people are going to spend a considerable amount of time on, I want it to be fun. I feel like even just a little bit.
I think you just have to make a boss that you just can't be AFK'd, but it's like a low level, and then it gives items that are used in high end PVMers, like. But like we have so much power creep that like everything could be basically AFK'd unless you have an insecure mechanic. Or like bosses that are really complex, like Solak, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't think you can make a boss not AFK and make it low level friendly. I don't know.
I think the only way that players who are like mid level can make any part of reasonable money is to facilitate like high end players' supplies.
Yeah.
So like God Arrows with Dinosaur Propel, that's really good money, pretty low requirements. Like they're the more healthy for the game. like skilling methods. And to be honest, if you're newer to the game, like since they fixed how we get propellant and stuff, it's not that bad.
And Godamo's demand went down because the game just went into necro mode. For example, making spirit runes was like 100 mil an hour because at one point because you guys tried to buy them for like 900 GP each.
Yeah,
And like it's boring to Runecraft, but I'm telling you now, it's good money though. It's boring, but like it's good money. There are ways, you just have to do them. Which if you don't want to grind them, then you value your time. You want to do something else, and I just say buy membership in real life and do stuff that you enjoy in the game. Stop spending
yeah.
5, 10 hours, 50 hours a week trying to grind membership. So now, like Jaggers, I don't think Jaggers should control the price of bonds. No, I don't think it really matters. And
I don't think this increase is all that bad.
I don't think overrides don't. I think it's just a natural way the world works. There is inflation. Every economy has inflation. Slight inflation is good for the economy. So it's going to happen. I don't think the price of bonds of it is that much. I think people are more annoyed about the spike in game than anything else than the real life spike. They wouldn't care. It's the fact that bonds went 150 mil in the game at the
Yeah, it's
moment.
definitely the in-game.
But that's just because no one's buying.
consequences.
That's because no one's buying bonds, and people that play the game are high-end players that are playing the game for 50 hours a day for the last 10 years of their life.
Yeah, and I think people are worried that now even less people are gonna buy. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
make it go down even more, and then
yeah, I mean, they just have to make the game fun to play, so people will play it. It's like the way you fix it.
That's why hopefully in the future with the roadmap, the content will be fun. But it remains to be seen.
Yeah, we're just kind of in limbo. Like ED5 is like a big breaking point in terms of like content that's really good. What was your last favorite piece of content that you've actually genuinely enjoyed and didn't do it because it was a trim rack in the last like 2 years? So think like Warcraft, Raziel, Hermod, Necro,
yeah, probably Elder God
Vault.
Wars.
Yeah, that was so long ago. I still include Zami. You enjoyed Zami.
Yeah, I enjoyed all of Elder God Wars when
Yeah,
it was
okay.
released. The only reason I stopped enjoying it was just because I spent too much time doing it.
Yeah, if you do
It's
something for too much
literally
time, if you do
Otherwise,
it,
I would
it
still
doesn't.
love it.
Yeah, if you do anything for too much time, you're gonna burn out. But like Zami's your last piece of content you genuinely enjoyed. What about you, Wiki?
I'd probably say Zamorak. Because that was, I think, more timing than anything, which is like it was a good boss release, and I had just about good enough gear to do it. And learning it on day of release was a lot of fun, because nobody really knew what was going on. You were in there with your friends having fun, which is what RuneScape, for me, is all about anyway.
Who did you go with on release, Wiki?
My Australian friend, Oxy.
Uh,
Me and him, we like maxed together. We like played together all the time. We like went on the journey together.
Anything else you guys want to say about bonds?
Brain is too small.
we discuss everything. Like all I would suggest is like I guess don't really need to add any other uses for bonds. I think
Yeah.
bonds. Although Jaggers make way more money from bonds than they actually do from membership sales because it's 14 days of membership for the equivalent of I think it's 30 days if you just buy membership. So they make double the amount of money they would from like if that makes sense.
I mean, I'm just where I started, I suppose. I don't.
You don't interact with
I don't
bonds. You
really
don't buy
interact with
them.
them, so I
Yeah.
feel really neutral about bonds and anything related to bonds.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, I don't know if that's bad that I don't really feel strongly one way or the other, but I wouldn't. I don't really like to
I don't think you
form
feel.
strong opinions on things that aren't gonna directly affect
Yeah,
me.
impact you. Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
have opinions, but they're not, they're not very strong. Like I said, I don't think there needs to be more types of bonds. I think that any sort of rage over the increase has nothing to do with the IRL
Yeah.
cost. It's more focused on the in-game costs and how it's gonna affect that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just something we're gonna have to see. I mean, there really is no limit to how much a bond can cost, just like anything else in the game. So
Yeah. The only silver lining is that Big Terry 634, who plays on 24 alt accounts at Vindicta, has to pay more, and I'm glad.
It's from Big Terry, man. Big Terry doesn't care. He makes 5 bill a minute playing on 20 Vindictus accounts.
Doing something that takes no skill whatsoever. Just
I mean,
removing.
playing 20 accounts is a
honestly,
skill. It is a skill, but it's not a good skill.
Clicking 24 screens. Pressing one button on my mouse every 16 minutes. Oh, the skill.
Like I should be like, oh, I want bonds to be cheaper because I buy membership. But I don't mind. Like, if some new player that like wants to play the game and they want to get money, I'd rather give them 130 mil. So I don't.
ultimately in a game with a bunch of horribly boring money-making methods for people who aren't doing the hardest content in the game, it's, dare I say, good.
I don't think the game, I don't think bonds ever hit a price where like you can't, like for me, I can't keep them to make a bond.
They're always relative to what someone's willing to pay for them. So
I don't think they'll ever hit a point where bonds are bill, and the best money making method is like 200 mil. I just don't see that ever happening. It just doesn't make sense. Like people would be buying bonds left, right, and center. If you could spend $8 for a bill, people would buy that in a heartbeat. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I think the bonds just do what the economy does. Like it just balances out. It's not. Jagged shouldn't control it. I think it's really bad for the game.
Yeah, it should be really independent. Bonds should just be whatever someone willing to pay for them. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for today, folks. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If there's something you'd like to hear us talk about in the future, if we do this again, let us know in the comments. Do you guys have anything you want to say to our friends on the...
Sorry for talking so much, viewers.
Yeah, I feel bad for your viewers after listening to the British.
Yeah.
Although, if you want people to come on, suggest them, and yeah.
Okay. Thank you for
also,
watching.
the rumors about Redbone being an AI are false, okay? Don't listen to them.
He's not an AI.
Nope.
Be kind to one another, guys. See you next time, friends.